it. Hey guys, how are you? We are at day number 17. Can you believe it? Day number 17 of the 21 days of prayer for your business. It's coming close to an end. My goodness. Well, today's topic I'm very excited about, and I have to tell you, my eyes are already a little mascara is going. I'll tell you, today's topic is still the emotions of today's topic are still very raw and real to me, and I've pretty much boohoo cried the whole morning. I've boohoo cried the whole morning, and so that is not a good sign for my emotional state to make it through this 21 day. I mean, this day of the 21 days. Oh my goodness. So, and I am a little just, the Lord amazes me. Can I just tell you, He makes me smile, and this journey it's mind blowing. And I'm going to tell you a story of something that just happened right before I hit live on this Facebook video, and it's going to blow your mind. So we're gonna dive in. The Lord's awesome. Did you know that? He really is. So day number 17 of 21 days of prayer for your business. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping like we always do. You know the drill. If you've got this book, awesome. We're going to be discussing it today. Actually, if you've got this book, it's going to be kind of a read along today, because I'm going to do something I haven't done during these 21 days together, but I'm actually going to read this whole entire chapter out to you. Usually I will read little bits and pieces of it here or there, but today I'm really going to dive in, and I am going to read the whole thing. I had a little bit of technical issues last night with Facebook, and so I've been a little nervous today that people can't hear me okay. And so if you're having some problems, just let me know here at the beginning, and we'll get it worked out. But I think my amazing husband, even not being here with me, fixed it from miles away. He fixed the issue. He's always taking care of me. So anyway, but the book today, if you have it, grab it, because we're going to be reading actually this whole chapter together. We're gonna read through it. But if you don't have this book, please know that you don't have to have it to go through the series every day. We're on day 17, so we've had days 1 through 16. And you can watch the videos. You don't have to have the book, so don't let that be an excuse. We did the 21 days of prayer just like this video, via video last year, and walked people through it, and we did not have this book. But over the course of the year, I decided to compile those topics into a book format, into a book/workbook, because we want you to write in this book, and created it. And you can get it if you want it at shop.uinfuse, spell out uinfuse.com. Okay, so you can get the book there, but please know if it doesn't fit your budget, go grab a notebook, go grab a pen, and you can join along. Okay, we give homework at the end and throughout our time in the videos, and just take note of whatever that is and write it out, because we want you to apply it. You know, as we're going through this, we don't want it to go in one ear and out the other. We really want it to be something that you take and that you apply to your life. So anyway, again, here at the beginning stages of this video, if at any time it is messed up or choppy, please let me know, because we were running into some problems yesterday, and then I'm not going to let my mind go there again. Okay. Like, stay on focus, Monique. If you don't mind, before we get started, I am just going to take a second and I'm going to pray, because today's topic is very, it's one of the most important topics. It's one that I think you probably deal with, the most. I deal with the most. It's the one topic of this book right now that I'm walking out, and the emotions are very real, raw. It's the one day when I was writing this book where I really felt like I I had this peace come over me, and it was something I had been searching for probably a year. And the writing process of this book was very precious to me. It was just, I can't explain it. It was a very precious time. I felt like I grew every day. I felt like the Lord really spoke to me and revealed himself to me, and like I hope he's doing to you as you're going through it. So hopefully you're nodding your head and you're going, yes, I get it. He's doing the same thing to me. Because, it's not the words that I'm saying. It really is him speaking to us and washing over us with his peace, with his divine wisdom and revelation. And through the process of writing this book, I felt like I had so many of those moments. And this day was probably the most profound. And I think it's the reason why I'm so emotional. As I was reading through today's day, I literally sobbed, because it's so just still so real. The emotions are still so raw and real. So I'm going to pray before we get started, and then we will dive in. Okay? Lord, I love you. I love you so much. And today's topic, I need you to help me, just get through it. I pray, Lord, that you speak to people. And still, today's topic, I don't feel like I've mastered it, Lord. I really don't. So there's parts of my human flesh that thinks, how dare you, Monique, even begin to press play on a Facebook Live video when you're talking about a subject that you are still struggling a little bit with. And so, Lord, I pray that you use my words to speak to people. Ultimately, it's you who's giving these light bulb moments, who are giving these divine revelations. And right now, I'm just a voice. And use my words, Lord. Give me the words. And I pray, Lord, that the things that I'm not supposed to say, even if I had planned it, Lord, I pray you just really erase it from my mind. And I pray the things, even if I had not planned on saying it, Lord, and I need to say it, Lord, I pray that you bring those thoughts to my mind and help me be able to communicate this effectively. I love you, Jesus. I thank you for what you give us when we are still and when we rest in you, when we know that by giving you that control, that you are going to work. And it's effortless. It really is effortless, Lord. I love you. In your name, amen. All right, guys. So here's the deal. I went through the beginning stages of the housekeeping, and you know that you do not have to have this book. If you're just jumping on the Facebook Live, this doesn't pertain to you if you're doing the YouTube, because you've watched the whole thing to this point. But we are going to be reading. I'm actually going to have story time, and I'm just going to read out today's chapter. So if you don't have the book, you are going to know exactly what day 17 is word for word. And if you have not seen the other videos, we would love for you to watch the other videos. We're on day 17, so days 1 through 16 has taken place, and we want you to watch them. They really kind of build upon each other. They do. And it's kind of like algebra. You know, you couldn't understand week 5 of algebra if you had not gone through weeks 1 and 4. And I believe you can come in and you can watch this day, but the other days are so important. We've kind of gone on a journey together. We feel like we've become best friends, right? I feel like we've got this connection. I'm reading your messages. You guys are sending me messages, and I feel like we've got this connection because we are walking through a journey together. And it's getting kind of sad because we're getting near the end of that journey. And I feel like our time is drawing to an end, and it's kind of sad. Kind of like going to camp, or, you know, me? Am I the only one that's sappy? But we've gone through a journey together, and I want to recap a few things that we've gone through. On day 1, we talked about giving God control. Lord, we give you control. It kind of goes along with today's topic of being still. Whenever you begin to hand over control, you actually start becoming still. At least that's the idea of what we should do. Day number 2, we talked about finding freedom from your past. You know, if you're always living in the past, you really can't move forward in the direction really that you need to be going. You feel like you were held captive. You were stuck in your past. You were stuck in those past mistakes, failures, hurts, rejections. So we've got to find freedom from that. We've got to move forward. Day 3, we talked about how you are uniquely made. You are. You are special. You are unique. There is a reason you are here right now in 2017. There's actually a reason why you're watching this. And I hope is for you to discover your unique design and how you can use that for the benefit of others. Day 4, we talked about getting a vision. You know, maybe you don't see the end picture, but it's allowing the Lord to be a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path and guiding your steps each day, step after step. Go into His Word and letting it guide you and lead you. Day number 5, we talked all about being intentional. You know, once we start discovering and finding freedom and knowing who we are and handing over control and catching a vision, we need to be intentional. What are our values? How are our non-negotiables getting into our life, into our business? That was day 5. Day 6, we talked about always growing. We need to be growing. We don't need to just stop. We need to continue on the path. Day 7, don't give up. You don't need to give up. The day you quit is the day you quit. That was day 7. Day 8 is living a life of worship. You know, our life, whenever we discover our unique design, our gifts and our talents, whenever we use our material things that we've been given, that we've been blessed with, we can use those in worship to Him. Did you know that? Your relationships, your time, gifts and talents we give and worship to you. That was day number 8. Day number 9 was living a life of excellence. And let's not get it confused with day number 10, which is perfectionism weighs you down. There's a fine line between excellence and perfectionism. And that topic is one so many of us need to listen to. Day 8 and day 9 and day 10. Day 11 was being a creative problem solver. You know, as obstacles and things come our way and issues come our way, we need to be a creative problem solver and figure out ways around it. Sometimes those bring the best opportunities in life is whenever we can figure out a solution to a problem. That was day number 11. Day number 12 was building community. We're better together. We really are. It's good. We've got a group of girls at the day yesterday, I think, is whenever they came, or day before. And they came to our house, and it's a community of people, and they're here and they're gathered and they're just chit-chatting and they're talking business, but they're talking life. And community is important. So we talked about that. The next day, day number 13, was surviving conflict. You know, anytime that you have community and you have a group of people, imperfect people dealing with imperfect people, you can have conflict. And we don't need to let conflict. So many times conflict paralyzes people. It keeps them from moving forward, and they throw in the towel because of this conflict. And that's not what needs to happen. We need to survive it. You know, conflict is going to happen. And we go and dive deep into that. You know, why do hurting people hurt people? What are their backstory? We talk about that on day 13. Day 14 was all about fighting for your family. You know, why do we discuss family in a 21 days of prayer for your business? Well, family is important. You know, if there's stress in your business, it usually spills over into your family. And if there's stress in your family, it normally spills over into your business. And so that was on day 14. Day 15, we talked about integrity matters. It does. Integrity is important. We need to embrace it into our life. We need to make sure that we are making those hard decisions. We need to make sure our values are getting into our day, which then led us to day number 16. That's where my short-term memory really fails me. And that was be courageous. Yesterday we talked all about being courageous, stepping out of your comfort zone. Hey, but it's comfortable here, Monique. I don't want to leave. Well, you know what? You begin to grow and you begin to stretch whenever you step out of your comfort zone. And that takes courage. And so yesterday we talked all about being courageous, which leads us to today of being still. Like, seriously, did you just you hear those words, be still? And can we all just breathe in and breathe out? Be still. Like, let's just be still for a second. It's kind of awkward, right? Like, it's that awkward silence here. Let's just be still for a second, you and I. Like, I even have to, like, look away because this is kind of uncomfortable. I mean, we can't be still for a long time, right? It's that cricket moment. Or are you like me, if there's a conversation and there's awkward silence, like you feel like you just gotta like run at the mouth? Or is that just me? It's weird being still. It's kind of uncomfortable. Like, surely I need to be saying something right now, right? Being still is hard. We really don't even know how to do it half the time. Have you ever seen a little kid and they're just like rambunctious and you kind of grab hold of them and you just be still for a second. Just be still, be still, be still, be still, be still. And they're like you're holding on to them and it's like they're going to explode. Was that only my children? You know, you're holding on to just be still for a second. I can't be still. I can't, like they're like literally shaking. It's hard for us to be still. It just doesn't feel like common nature. We need to fix things. We need to work at things. We got to have the answer. Like, I've got to voice my response. I've got to fix it. And being still does not seem like the answer, because if I'm not working and I'm not doing and I'm not fixing and I'm not saying, then how is it gonna happen? How is this issue? Like, I have to do something. So I want to talk to you about this today, and I'm gonna read pretty much the whole entire chapter, and then I'm going to discuss it with you. This topic, like I said earlier, for the course of all last year, I need you guys to know, let me just set the stage for you, okay? Last year was kind of a rocky year in places. It was a year that I was trying in my own might to fix a lot of things. I was trying to fix a lot of my weaknesses. I was trying to fix a lot of my issues. I knew a lot of my shortcomings and the things that I pretty much sucked at in life. And I was working very hard at trying to fix them. I was trying to fix myself, you know? And there was some things in my business that I was trying to fix. There were some things that I was trying to be that creative problem solver that I've talked about on day whatever, 11 or so. Fix it, Monique. Fix it. Fix it. And I felt like everything that I was doing, I was running in a hamster wheel and I was not getting anywhere, but I was trying to fix it with everything inside of my being. I felt like I was at a stage in my business, in my career with, Monique, you should have it together. What is your issue? You remember back on day 10 when I told you Eric asked me those questions. It's really probably been longer than a year. I don't feel like I'm enough. I don't feel like, and Eric would say, why? Well, I don't know. I just don't. I feel like I could have done this better. Well, why? Why do you feel like you needed to have done that better? Why? So over the course of that year, I did study after study on freedom. If you follow me on social media, you probably have heard me talk about it. I did Beth Moore's Breaking Free and dove deep into it. I was all consumed by it. I went, did freedom at church. I've read about freedom. I watched movies on freedom. Freedom. Lord, I need freedom from this. Why do I always feel like I'm not enough? Why do I always feel like I'm always going to disappoint? Why do I feel like I have to have this validation from others? Why? Like, why? Why can I not get rid of this? I need freedom. So for a whole year, I fought in my own flesh and tried finding freedom. I did studies on freedom. I did 10-week studies on freedom. I watched movies on freedom. I talked about freedom. I read verses on freedom. I was doing everything I could to find freedom. And lo and behold, I'm in the middle of writing this book. And I get to this topic and it hits me like a ton of bricks. Well, let me read. Let's start, if you've got the book, on page 124. And I'm going to start under the topic of mind games. When I began writing this day's topic, I had some issues hit me pretty hard. The punch went right to my biggest insecurities. Here are the thoughts that went through my mind. I was actually sitting out on the beach. It was very peaceful out there, but my soul was not at rest. My surroundings seemed peaceful, but my soul was in disarray. Here is the thoughts that went through. The punch went right to my biggest insecurities. Here are the thoughts that went through my mind. You are not enough, Monique. You let people down, Monique. You don't love enough, Monique. You have failed, Monique. What makes you think you can write a book that touches on topics you struggle with in life? You aren't qualified for this type of work, Monique. You've been this way your whole life. What makes you think you will ever change? You will always disappoint people, Monique. You know, I knew these were all lies, and it didn't surprise me that it was being thrown in my face at the end writings of this book. With that being said, I was still emotionally worn out when I went to bed that night. You know, I'm very emotional because these are this is just what I was walking through. You need to know, I hear you when you tell me that this has been hard for you, because I've been walking it too, and it's been hard for me. So I appreciate you digging in and fighting for it, because I've been fighting for it. So I know what you're going through. So that night I was emotionally worn out when I went to bed. I woke up having to make a phone call to cancel a weekend engagement that I had previously planned. The person I called, I just so happened to be leading a small group at our church about freedom, which is her passion. Her name is Paula Mackey. And I don't think she'll ever know how much she helped me this day. She is so wise. While on the phone, I told her my current struggles. And I need you to know, when I called her, I was feeling like a failure, and here I am feeling like I'm having to call and cancel something and that had been planned, and I'm now going to be a disappointment. So on top of feeling like a disappointment, I feel like more of a disappointment because I'm having to call and cancel something that I had previously planned. I have got tears on my glasses. Hold on one second, and it's like freaking me out. She is so wise. While on the phone, I told her my current struggles and how I have so desperately been trying to find freedom from these issues. I was running my mouth 90 to nothing. And then she said it. Monique, stop talking. You've got to stop talking. I quickly shut my mouth and listened. Her next words rang in my ears. Monique, you've got to be still and let God handle it. And she had no clue that that day I was writing on the topic of being still. And she said, Monique, you've got to quit talking. Shh. Quit talking. You got to be still. Can you just be still for a second? Let God handle it. Why is it hard for us to be still? Why is our first response to work at fixing something? Why do we run to our friends before we run to God? Why is it hard to let go and let God take over? I believe the answer is simple. You see, we are made up of body, flesh, soul, and spirit. Our flesh wants to call the shots pretty much all the time. It seems natural to work to fix something. We can see our flesh, we can see our efforts, and we can see our friends. So it makes sense to start there. It's so much deeper though. When we surrender to God and hand something over to Him and become still, we truly find rest for our souls. For our souls. Do you remember me saying I was emotionally worn out when I went to bed? I wasn't physically worn out. I was emotionally worn out. Anybody else watching this right now that's ever felt emotionally worn out? I feel like I have been beat down. My muscles may not be sore, but emotionally, I'm sore. When we surrender to God and hand something over to Him and become still, we truly find rest for our souls. Our mind finds rest. Our emotions find rest. Our feelings find rest. We are telling God we trust Him when we hand something fully over to Him. So let me pause right here and tell you, I know what you're thinking. Because I'm beginning to tell Jeremiah. Jeremiah was here this day at the beach. And after Paula told me that, I was sitting down at the beach. And I'm starting to have this epiphany. Early, I'm starting to have this epiphany. Ooh, man, I'm a mess. I'm starting to have this aha moment. And I'm telling Jeremiah, I just have to be still. Like, I have to be still. And he says, no. But Monique, you still have to work. Monique, you still have to work. And I'm like, no, I need to be still. But Monique, you still have to work. So I say here, I know what you're thinking. My husband said the same thing to me when I was discussing this topic with him. You still have to work. You still have to find a resolution, Monique. You still have to do something. Yes, so very true. Being still doesn't mean you don't put forth effort, okay? You are telling the Lord you trust Him. You believe that He will open doors and create opportunities and give you wisdom and discernment. All of those things will require action once they are presented to you. So then I say, let me tell you a story about hunting for sand dollars. It will hopefully give you a good visual example of the message I'm trying to portray. Now I need you to work with me on this. I just need you to listen to the story, and then I'm going to explain, okay? My youngest daughter, hey, I put my foot on the table. Jeez. My youngest daughter, Elena, and I were on a mission to find sand dollars while at the beach. when I was writing this book. We are the exact same personality. If we are on a mission, we dive in and give 110%. The night before our epic expedition, we researched the best way to find sand dollars. We read articles, we watched videos, we looked statistically where the best locations were and the times of day we needed to be there. Sand dollars were on my mind so much that I had a dream about a massive sand dollar that night. It's true. We woke up bright and early to beat all the others to the beach. Nobody was going to get our sand dollars. We worked all morning. It's hard work finding sand dollars. The ones we were finding were tiny. Many would crumble in our hands when we touched them. The waves were crashing and pushing them away before we could snatch them up. We were getting soaking wet and hit by the waves as we worked. We walked away with our mission accomplished. We found 12 small sand dollars. Throughout the day, sand dollars stayed on my mind. As I was drifting off to sleep, sand dollars were rolling in the waves as I tried to catch them. I know, I'm obsessed. I'm sorry. The next day came along and I was continuing to write on being still. I was still thinking about my insecurities. It was the day my friend told me to be quiet and be still. It was the day I was meditating on the verses about finding rest. And it was the day that I found peace. Right in the middle of that day, the Lord was about to drop the biggest visual example of this process to me. I'm a visual person, so the Lord knew just what he was doing to make it crystal clear. I'm sure he thought this girl needs all the help she can get. I am so thankful he has so much patience with me. I probably wear him out. Honestly, he's probably like, girl, you wear me out. You wear me out. So I walked back out to the beach that day to grab my chair I left out earlier in the day. On my walk out to the beach, I was on the phone with Eric Hudson, who is our business, who manages our business in finances. And I was giving him a recap of how the day had gone. We were discussing some printing issues we were running into with this book, and we had to change the plan we had been working on for a little over 2 months. And typically that would have stressed me out, but for some reason I was at perfect peace. I was resting in the fact that I knew God had something better in mind. Our conversation then turned to the struggles I had been facing of feeling inadequate. You see, he knew what I had been going through. He knew the story of me being out on the beach and feeling like I was inadequate, I wasn't enough. And so our conversation then turned to those struggles that I had been facing of feeling inadequate and how quickly I found a sense of peace by being still. Somewhere during our conversation, I stopped in the middle of the soft sand and was standing still as we discussed being still. Do you hear what I'm saying? I had been walking the shore where the water came to my feet, and I had looked down and I saw a jellyfish. And I realized that I really wasn't paying attention to where I was walking. I was pacing back and forth talking to Eric about being still, about what Paula had told me and how literally in that moment of me being still, I was finding rest for my soul. And I look down and I see that jellyfish and I realize, oh man, I'm not paying attention. I was kind of engrossed into my conversation. So I walked up to the soft sand, deep up into the soft sand where no water was. And I continue my conversation. And I'm standing there and I'm discussing with him about being still. And I look down at my foot. And there was this itty bitty teeny tiny sand dollar right at my toe. And I kind of did a double take Is that a sand dollar? Am I seeing things again? Am I seeing things again? Is sand dollars on my mind so much that I'm seeing sand dollars everywhere I go? And I look down and I pick it up. And I just carry on my conversation. Thought it was crazy. So I stopped in the middle of the soft sand and was standing still as we discussed being still. I looked down at my feet as we talked, and I couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing. Was that a sand dollar? It was so tiny. It blended in with the white sand so you could hardly see it. It was perfectly intact, not a chip on it. I reached down and picked it up and carried on my conversation. I finished my conversation with Eric and continued my walk back up to our house. I walked in silence, thinking how odd it was. I found a sand dollar right there in the middle of that soft white sand. That was so random. How did it get up there that far from the water's edge? How did it remain intact, being that tiny? How did I just so happen to stop right in the exact place where it would be at my feet? This was mind-blowing. After I had worked so hard the day before. That is when the Lord softly spoke to me, "You were still." I sat and thought about those words for a second. It was so true. Right there on the beach, I stopped in one place. I was standing still, finishing up my conversation with Eric about being still and finding rest. I looked down and effortlessly found a sand dollar, which wasn't so easy to find the day before. The epic expedition we had set out on to find sand dollars was a serious mission. We were on a serious mission the day before to find these sand dollars. We had fine-tuned our skills, people, by watching videos and reading articles. We got up early in the day to beat all the others to the beach. It was hard work. Sand dollars crumbled right in our hands as we went to pick them up. Waves washed many of the sand dollars out of reach, and they were lost right before our very eyes. Oh, we did find some sand dollars on our expedition that day, but this little treasure was something special. This tiny sand dollar gave me a visual representation of what I had just walked through. When we quit working and striving in our own might, we find what we've been searching for. We find it when we are still and we trust God. Did you catch that? It's not by working, it's by being still. The rest for your soul. The rest for your soul. It's not by working, it's by being still. It's by trusting. It's easy to be still when you trust. Working will wear you out. Don't you agree? Emotionally, it'll wear you out. We can research, read articles, and watch videos. We can see how others work through the same situations and replicate what they do. We can get up early before anyone else and work hard to find the answers. We can think about it constantly. We can team up with someone and not take the expedition alone. Some of our efforts may crumble the second we try them. A few may seem right in our reach only to get washed away by an incoming wave of life that crashes and pushes it out of sight. We may find several that work, but they just aren't quite perfect, not completely intact. It may get a little messy in the process when life hits and knocks our feet out from under us. We will see the fruit of our hard work. Remember, I did find 12 tiny sand dollars that day. but it will probably leave us exhausted. Could there be a way that was easier? Effortless, maybe? Could we stop for 1 second, be still, and look down and find the answer we were looking for when we weren't even looking? I added that tiny sand dollar to our collection. The others were special, but this one was extra special. This sand dollar taught me a lesson. It was a symbol of rest. It was a symbol of handing something over to God and allowing Him to bring the answer in His timing and in His ways. That's how the Lord works, though, right? He drops things right in front of us when we stop striving and start surrendering. It may be in the form of something tiny when we aren't even looking. And the best part was, it was effortless. You know, even that part of the story right there, as I was talking to Paula that day when she called me, and I was telling her how, well, I thought I fixed it with this. I thought I fixed it with that. I mean, I don't know how to fix it. This issue that I feel like people are upset with me about, I feel like I came up with the creative idea and solution, and I implemented it, and still, it's not worked. I'm still not enough. I'm telling her this, and that's when she said, stop. Shh, quit talking. And then she said this, Monique, when you began your journey with this business 4 years ago, did you know what you were doing? I said, no, I didn't know what I was doing. Did you have any history with this business? No. Did you even like this kind of business? No. But did you find success in this business? How did you? It was effortless almost, right? Did it feel effortless? She used those words. Did it feel effortless? Yeah, actually, in a crazy weird way, I've never worked so hard at something, but in the same token, I've never felt like something has been so effortless. The last 4 years, I've worked more hours. I have done more than I've ever done, but emotionally, it was effortless. And she said it was because you trust in God. He gave you a vision. You had no clue how to do it. So you had to ultimately 100% be still and trust in His ways. She then tells me, let me ask you this, Monique. The day before Jesus was put to death, everyone was singing His praises. Everyone, they were parading Him down the street. And the next day, He's being accused. He is being put to death. He's been beaten. Did He love all of those people? Did He love them? Yeah. He loved every single one of them. Even the ones who were accusing, even the ones who were betraying Him, even the ones who He was putting Him to death. He loved them. Did He try fixing the situation? Did He? Monique, did He try fixing the situation? What did He do? He was still. He was just still. And He trusted in God. She said, Monique, you got to start being still. You've got to understand that the Lord will fix this. The Lord will open doors. The Lord will do it in His timing. And you've got to be still. Just like when you started your business and you knew that the Lord would open doors, the Lord would guide your steps. And when He did you work? Yes, you walked through them. But emotionally, you were at rest because you were being still and trusting in Him. It's a hard thing because our body, we are flesh. We want to fix things. We want to do things in our own might. we want to make everybody love us. We want to give everybody the perfect solutions. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's really not all about our human efforts. We still have to work. And again, I know it's a hard thing to distinguish between the two. But emotionally, finding rest is by trusting. Let me give you a little visual example of physical rest. Jeremiah, back in March, Jeremiah and I, for our anniversary, went to a bucket list vacation. It was a vacation that I never actually thought that we would go on. We went to Bora Bora. You guys, hello, it's amazing. And physically, I have never been at such just complete rest. It's the most beautiful place we've ever been, but it has been the most restful vacation I've ever been on. I don't know if your family is like mine, but we love to vacation, and when we go on vacation, sometimes we need a vacation from our vacation. Let's go to Disney, and we are up from the crack of dawn until like the wee hours of the morning, and then we repeat it the next day. Or you go to New York, or you go to some place and you have to see all the sights, and you go home and you're exhausted physically. You feel like you need a vacation. Well, when we went on this vacation, we landed in Tahiti and got on a little plane, boarded another plane to Bora Bora, and landed right on the water, not on the water, but on land right by the water. And you get off the plane, and you just get off the plane right there on the tarmac, and you pick up your luggage and literally go out the back door and get on a little boat, and that boat takes you to your little hut, which is out in the middle of the water. Like if you're freaked out by water, you're in the middle of it, like right in the middle of it. And we get out there, and it was just the most restful time I've ever experienced. Like, there's nothing to do but sit and look at the water and get in the water. And there's a TV, if you want to watch TV. There's nothing. There's no cars. Like where we were at, there were no cars. You're not even hearing a car. Honestly, we got to even talking. Were there even any birds or anything? Because we really weren't even hearing anything. And then to top that all off, the resort we were staying at was this amazing plush resort. And at the day that we left, a company had rented out this resort, the whole entire resort, okay? So we stayed there for like 9 or 10 days. I can't remember what. But every day that we were there, it got less and less people there. Less people. And we had no clue that somebody had rented out the resort until that very last day. But we got to talking is this weird? It's like we're the only ones here. Well, we were the only ones there because as it got closer and closer, nobody's going to go and book just one night there, just 2 nights. So every day as it got closer to the end of our stay, it was less and less people. Up until the last day, it was almost scary and eerie because we're the only ones here. This is weird. It was quiet. I've never experienced that kind of quiet. At night, the night before we left, sitting on our porch area in the middle of the water, I've never in my life seen stars. I've never seen that many stars. It was so restful. It was like even talking about it, it's like I can physically experience that peace. It was so peaceful. Physically rest. I have to say that physically, as I can explain that rest, that day out on the beach when I was writing this part of being still, and when I experienced that stillness, that is really what my soul felt. Just complete peace. it was emotionally hard for me to leave when we left that vacation, because I've never experienced that deep, quiet peace on a vacation before. It was just, I can't explain it. I wish I just somebody could you fly my kids here and we never leave this place? Like, this is crazy. I've never experienced quite this peace. The same thing I can say when I truly handed that issue over to God that day when I was writing this book. When I said, Lord, I hand it over to you. And it was immediately that physical rest that I found was this emotional rest that I found for my soul. It was so freeing. And it's almost effortless. That sand dollar that day, I want you to hear this. I want you to hear this. And it may not make sense to you. It may just be something that the Lord had to drop and is this big, huge light bulb moment for me. But that day, when I bent down and I picked up that sand dollar, it was effortless. I was being still. I was talking about being still. And it was like the Lord was showing me, Monique, you can do things in your own might, and it's fine. Look, when you worked and you went out there and you tried finding those sand dollars, you found them. You found them. It's great. I gave you 12 tiny sand dollars, and it was effortless. It wasn't effortless. I'm sorry. It was not effortless. I gave you those 12 sand dollars, and you worked for it. But also this day, when you were still, when you handed it over to me, when you rested in me, right there you picked up a tiny sand dollar, and it was effortless. And that's the same thing I'm going to continue to do for you. It's okay to work on your own might. You're going to see results. But when you're feeling emotionally worn out and drained and beat down, stop. Come to me and let me help you. Be still. Rest in me. And when you least expect it, I'm going to give you a tiny sand dollar. It's the same with my story of finding success with business. I had tried for many years to find success in my own might. I tried really hard with my business, my scrapbook store. I tried to open it up another location. I tried working hard in my own might to get our family out of the financial bind that we were in as working as a nurse. Even 5 years ago, it's hilarious, it came up on our memories, had opened up a little online site trying to teach people how to do coupons. When I was trying to save money, I've worked really hard in my own life to try finding contentment and fulfillment. But the day that I started my journey, the 21 days of prayer 4 years ago, I handed it over to God, and I said, I give it to you. I need you. I can't do this on my own. I've tried doing it on my own in the past, and it's crashed and burned. I've had failures. It's worn me out. So this time, I'm going to rely on you, and this time I'm going to trust in you. And those 4 years, while I worked hard, was effortless. And the success I have found has been because of him. It's something that I was not ever expecting. I stopped searching for validation of myself through my works. And I started just resting in him. No longer did my success define me, but he defined me. The sand dollar story does not end there. The sand dollar leads right up to 2 minutes before I pressed play on this Facebook Live. I'm sitting here and I'm praying about talking to you about the subject today, and I said this. I kid you not, I said this. I said, Lord, I need your help today. I need your help today with this topic, because honestly, I still don't even know if I've got it mastered. And I think in my human flesh, I can't talk to these people today about being still, because I still struggle with it, Lord. I'm not confident today about the words that I'm going to speak, because I don't feel like I'm equipped to share this. The emotions are still raw. But Lord, I rest in you. I said this, you guys. I said, Lord, I rest in you. And I'm about to hit play on this, and I don't have my little notebook filled up with bullet points like I've had filled up every day. I don't even know what I'm going to say, Lord. But Lord, I trust in you that you are going to give me the words. And then I said this, Lord, ultimately, I want the people watching this today to find peace. Lord, I want them to find peace in being still. And you guys, those words came out of my mouth. Those words came out of my mouth. I want other people to find peace in their life as they are being still. And as I sat right here where I'm sitting, there is a door right here to my left. And it leads right down to the boardwalk that goes out to the beach. And I have a house full of girls sitting downstairs. And I say those words, Lord, I want other people to find peace as they are being still. And I hear outside 2 girls scream, oh my gosh, I found a $100. And I was like, what? What? A story in a book that I wrote, that the Lord gave me peace as I found a tiny $100. So much so that I wrote it in a book. So much so that I just told it in a story that I was about to hit live on. And the Lord was like, see, Monique, it's just by being still. And I literally opened the door with 2 minutes before I hit live. And I opened up the door and I said, did you just scream that you found a $100? They're like, yes, we're all finding them. We're all outside finding $100. We all found a $100. And I said, what? You all just found $100? They're like, yeah, we were just all at the beach. And I said, they were like, do you want us to bring them up to you? And I said, yeah, bring them up to me. And literally within 30 seconds of me hitting live, these girls bring us $100. I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to show you, okay? They find these little $100 and they bring it up to me. And they lay it on the table. You guys, in that moment that I asked the Lord, I'm just going to be still and trust and know that my words cannot bring people peace, but you can bring them peace. I pray that those little $100 represent the same thing to you that they represented to me. Lord, speak to people. Lord, as people are still, may they find your peace. And then I hear it. Oh my gosh, I found a $100. So that's my prayer for you. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what your day looks like, what your week looks like, what your month looks like, what your year looks like. I don't know if you've had a year like I had where I was constantly not feeling like I was enough, like I was not doing enough, that I was not loving enough, that I was not being enough, that I was always going to be a disappointment to others, that no matter what I did, this is who I was. You're 40 years old, Monique. How are you going to change? It's who you are. You're 40 years old. Nothing's changed. You keep doing it over and over. You're going to disappoint. Why do you keep on? What makes you think you could even write a book, lead people in this? I don't know what it is you're trying to find peace from. I don't know the hurts. I don't know what it is. But I do know that as you are still, and as you rest, and as you hand it over to Him, in the form of something very tiny, he is going to reach down and show you, this is what I give you as you are still and trust in me. Let's pray, and then I'm going to give you some verses, okay? Lord, I love you so much. And I have no clue, Jesus, if this even makes sense to other people. Maybe this is just something that you've had to speak to me and bring clarity to me. But if it helps someone else, Lord, I pray you open their eyes to it. But if everybody's just sitting there shaking their head and going, Monique, this is crazy, it makes no sense, Lord, I thank you that you've given this to me and that you've helped me. Lord, whatever people are walking through, whatever they're going through, they emotionally feel beat down. They feel like they're never going to be enough. They're always going to repeat the same mistakes. They've tried in all of their might to fix a situation, to fix a relationship, to fix a problem, to fix this thing in their business, to fix this thing in their marriage, to fix this thing in their relationship with their children, to fix this thing in their relationship with their friend. They're emotionally depleted. Lord, today, may they be still. For a brief moment, may they stop, pause, hand it over to you and go, Lord, I'm enough in you. I rest in you. I can't do this on my own anymore. So, Lord, I will work. You know I'm a worker. I will work. And when you open doors, I will walk through them. When you give me ideas, Lord, I will do them. But, Lord, I'm exhausted. If that's their prayer, Lord, I pray you give them the strength. I pray that they find rest in you, Jesus. May their soul find complete rest and peace. When their surroundings look crazy, when there seems like no other way, may they rest in you. I thank you for that, Jesus. In your name, amen. I want to leave you with two verses. Psalm 46:10. It says, be still and know that I am God. I've got a little, I won't show you. Be still and know that I am God. And Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. And they shall walk and not faint. You guys, that's my prayer for you. That you are still, that you be still and know that He is God. I'm going to give you a few more walkout points, and then we're going to close our time together. On page 128, if you've got the book, I say, don't neglect a day of rest. A day of rest is so important. Take time to refuel and reflect. If you're feeling worn out, take a day of rest. Take a Sabbath. The Sabbath is there for a reason. It's to refuel, to honor God, but for you to recharge and refuel. Blast worship music when stress consumes you. Lift Jesus higher with your praises, and in the process, He will become bigger than your problems. Hey, don't just wait for times when you are overwhelmed. Listen to worship music every single day. Worship at home, driving in traffic, or as you're drifting off to sleep. I love going in my girls' room at night because they've got worship music playing every night. That's how they go to sleep. They have worship music playing. Rest. Rest in Him. Rest in Him. Feeling exhausted and defeated? When these emotions wash over you, stop, hand control over to God. Pray for wisdom and discernment. Find rest in trusting in His promises. When doors open, walk through them. Finally, meditate on the verses that I just told you. Psalms 46:10 and Isaiah 40:31. Tomorrow, you guys, is going to be day 18, and the topic is competition compliments you. It does. It's going to be a good topic, and I hope you come back. I just want you to know I love you. I really do. I really, really, really do love you. I just pray that you are hearing from the Lord and that He's speaking to you. I want you to dig in and seek after Him, because I know when you do seek after Him, my words are not going to change your life. But as you seek after Him, He is going to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask or think. So I love you. And I just appreciate you for coming back day after day. So I'll see you back here tomorrow, okay? See ya.